I'm Ron, and Jeff, how is it that an asteroid can explode over the Atlantic Ocean with more force than the Hiroshima bomb and no one's talking about it?
Because it's so much more fun to talk about Donald Trump being a jackass.
I don't know. Does that not fucking scare the shit out of you? I don't know what scares me more. The fact that it could have been over London or something, or the fact that it happened.
No.
And you don't hear about it.
No. I'm pissed. We didn't fucking follow suit in Armageddon, board the meteor, and aim it at the Kardashians or something. we just wasted a prime natural disaster.
So you aim it at the Trump Tower, and then Kanye can mine it for his $53 million.
Excellent. Like two douchebags with one rock. All right, well, this is actually a first in a long time. There's actually quite a bit of news to get to, and not just a good quantity of news. There was some decent stuff that actually happened over the last week or so. So we're gonna get right to it with movie news, and so we're gonna start off with a bit of a bummer and a little out of nowhere for me. Pacific Rim 2 we've reported on. It feels like 15 times.
Oh yeah,
it was
every week for a little bit there.
In production hell, Guillermo del Toro the whole way has been championing it as much as possible. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna make damn sure it's gonna happen. Blah,
Studios
blah, 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 blah.
At one point said no, it's not, and he said yeah, it is.
He was like, I own you. I'm gonna keep it personally on the schedule. And he threatened to throw them into Pan's Labyrinth at some point, I think. But now the news is Pacific Rim 2 still happening, but without Del Toro directing.
He's still writing.
I saw he's still producing.
The article that I read said he's still on as a writer.
As a writer, okay.
Yeah, because it had...
robot punches alien. Alien hits robot. I mean, we're talking a very loose script here.
Actually, he said it was going to be quite a bit different from the first one. The one that I was reading had an interview with him.
Okay.
And it had quotes from him and stuff. And he was saying that this one is going to be have a completely different feel than the first one, but it was still going to live up to the first one. Actually, the biggest shock to me in the article that I was reading is when I read that the first one was critically acclaimed. I had no idea that the critics actually liked it.
I think they liked it to the extent that, hey, it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots with an alien.
Right.
I mean...
But usually movies like that, you just get destroyed.
Yeah. Probably part of what helped it is the fact that we've had 17 Bayformer movies.
Yeah.
To compare it to, and good God, there's so much. Pacific Rim is fucking Schindler's List compared to Transformers.
Yeah, well, you and I have said many times that it was not only the Godzilla movie we wanted, but it was the Transformers movie we always wanted.
My whole thing is, who fucking gives a shit about King Kong or Godzilla? Why would I just watch the creature when I can watch gigantic mech suits fighting the creatures?
Yeah.
With gigantic fuck-off swords for no reason other than they're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the new news is that Del Toro still associated with the project. It's still apparently happening, but the new director is Stephen DeKnight, and most famous recently for the first season of Daredevil. He was the showrunner for the first season. He was apparently, I don't know if he was a showrunner, but he was heavily involved with both Buffy and Spartacus, both shows I have not seen, but a lot of people...
So I think that gives you a little bit of an idea of the tone, probably the second one, but yeah, it just kind of worries me. Like you said, it's been in and out of development hell, and we've lost Del Toro as the director, so you've lost the vision that the first one had, but... You still have him writing and producing, but then he says it's going to have a completely different feel. That always scares me in a sequel.
What scares me, too, is that I like some of the stuff Stephen DeKnight has done, but this is his first feature as a director, too. He's directed TV, but it's a different animal. I mean, Daredevil is an awesome show, but directing an episode of that compared to directing a 2.5 or 2 hour robot alien action movie is just...
See, I would argue the most difficult change there basically is the high level of CGI, and so that he's just gonna have to be using his imagination with. But I mean, I don't know if he was picked. I mean, the first one, a lot of people love the first one, and if Del Toro seems cool with him on it, and it's Del Toro's baby,
Yeah. Unfortunately, I would not be shocked if this never saw the light of day.
Yeah.
Because with Del Toro, if Del Toro had always been attached to direct it, like it always seemed to me like the only reason this wasn't shit canned a year and a half ago was because Del Toro wouldn't let it die.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer if it is. I hope it, even if it's directed by him, I just want to see more of Pacific Rim 2.
Yeah. The thing is, though, obviously I want more Pacific Rim. Like, I want it. I would really love to see it. But if it never happened, the first one ended on a pretty good note.
Yeah,
you know?
and no matter what happens with this one, it will never hurt the first one.
Yeah.
Like, we can always get shit-faced and watch Pacific Rim have a great fucking time because it's just an awesome movie. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a red flag for sure. But we'll have to just wait and see what happens with that one. A sequel that is for sure happening is John Wick Chapter 2, which is it's a total. It's so simple, yeah. It's kind of awesome for John Wick at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of those movies that you really don't care what happens to it as long as it happens and you get to see it because you're just there for one reason and one reason only.
I will watch Keanu shoot fuckers in the face chapters 1 through infinity. If you haven't seen John Wick, that was one of the best movies of the last few years, in my opinion. John Wick Chapter 2 is its official title, and it is releasing on February 10th of 2017.
You notice the ones that we like the best have the simplest plots these days?
Yeah, I think that kind of maybe says something about it. I like the one where Keanu shoots the guy, and I like the one where the robots fight the aliens.
I'm just thinking more of it as like Hollywood is trying so hard to impress nowadays that they're just flopping, and then you get Keanu Reeves shooting fuckers in the face and Rock'em Sock'em robots with aliens, and it works.
What's crazy is that we're even getting a John Wick sequel because that was a dark horse if there ever was one, but every single person who saw it rightfully loved it.
Yeah.
And then word of mouth took hold, and now it's one of the most beloved action movies of the last decade.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm not even a big Keanu fan. I don't even remember. I think the director was more of like an indie director. I don't think it was anyone notable. It was just this little indie darling, basically.
Yeah.
But I can't wait.
And it changed the way a lot of people film action too. Because next thing you know, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Skye was fucking John Wick, dude.
It's like what it's like.
Well, she wasn't fucking John Wick, but she was John Wick.
Yeah. It's like the Daredevil hallway fight and John Wick changed combat as far as shooting sequences and also action. It seemed like hand to hand.
Game changer, as they say.
For sure. Yeah. So that's February 10th, 2017. We are less than a year out from more John Wick. So what do you think? He goes, he gets like a gerbil. Then goes in. I think I read it's taking place in Italy. So it's like some Italian guy kills his gerbil and he just murders Italy because of it.
Okay, John Wick 2. Here was the pitch. He had a bird, and Jim Carrey accidentally twisted its head off, and Jeff Daniels duct taped it back on, and he found out because they thought he was blind, but he wasn't. And yeah.
Pretty bird. Bird.
That's what he says as he shoots people in the face. Pretty bird. Yeah. I would watch it, dude.
I would fucking watch it, dude. All right, let's move on. Next thing in the news, and that is this is probably gonna be more up Ron's alley because I still have yet to see this. But
this shocked me. I didn't even hear about this till you put it in the notes.
We are both pretty decently sized anime fans. But Death Note is something we have. I think we've talked about it a couple of times before on the podcast.
Yes.
I think it was mostly for casting related or something, or maybe
I think it was announcement.
It is getting an R rating.
That's interesting.
Your thoughts?
Perfect.
So okay,
some fucked up shit goes down in that anime, dude.
Is it fucked up to the point to where if it hadn't been R, it wouldn't have been able to be done properly?
I wouldn't go that far because I saw the Japanese live action adaptation when there was a Fathom event here at Cinemark, and I went there and watched part 1. I didn't get to see part 2, unfortunately. But I mean, it works pretty well in live action, even with a lower rating. But if you're gonna do it,
go for it.
And yeah, if you want to do it, and you're setting up to do it, and you want to do it right. Go for it, because the thing is, he doesn't just have to write your name in the book. He can write specifically how you die, and that's what will happen to you.
So
there's some pretty fucked up shit that can happen.
So the fucked up shit that happens, are we talking like psychologically disturbing, like gore, like what about what they can do now with this R rating excites you as far as the adaptation aspect of it?
There's not a whole lot of gore in it, but there is a lot of psychological type things. I don't know what I just said. Psychological type things. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. It's hard to explain, but they do explore a lot of the psyche and a lot of like kind of taking the power of God into your hands and stuff like that.
It's a great concept, and I've been meaning to watch it, but my list of shit to watch and rewatch and games to play is never ending, and I will never get caught up on everything. So I hope to get to it at least.
I feel like the R rating means that what happens is not happening off camera.
Okay.
Is what I mean, because the way the anime will do things is, you've seen the little monster that kind of floats around him before. You might see like him in the background, that's where the focus is, and you might see in the foreground out of focus because you're focusing on the monster, like the blood shoot up in a hand or something. Like you see stuff like that off camera kind of a lot, but they still give you enough information, you know what's happening. I feel like this means they're not going to be hiding anything that happens.
I will, at least before the movie comes out, get around to watching the anime for sure. Continuing the trend of R-rated stuff. Man, it's kind of funny. That Deadpool movie makes $135 million, and it's like next week later, R. It's like Angry Birds R.
Did I ever tell you
the Angry Birds are angry?
Did I ever tell you what my dad would say when he'd see the Red Band trailer come up before a movie, or not just the Red Band come up before a movie and it says R? He'd be like, huh, really good. So, yeah, that's where we're getting now with all the comic book stuff.
So this one also incredibly interesting, and this threw me for a loop. So, Batman vs. Superman on its Blu Ray release, which they have like a name for it. It's like the
Ultimate Edition.
Super Awesome Fun Time Edition or something. They are going to have an R-rated cut of the film on the Blu Ray, which is crazy to me because even on a Blu Ray, I never would have imagined anything above PG-13 with these properties.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, first of all, really quickly, the cut length on the theatrical version is 2 hours and 31 minutes. I remember what you told me, right? So I'm expecting probably an additional, like, if they're considering it kind of like a director's cut, usually that's like 20, 25, maybe even 30 if they had to cut a lot, because there's a lot fucking going on in that movie.
There's nothing specifically saying, I don't think, that it's longer, but the fact that it's uncut can mean a couple different things. It could mean that maybe they edited out some blood sequences in the fight. It could mean they edited out other things that, just to get it down to the PG-13 rating.
Yeah. Now, it was the MPAA who actually gave the rating on the Blu-ray. They gave it an R, and they cited it for violence. So what I'm thinking is in the scene they've been showing where he's in the armored suit and they're fighting each other, I think that's where you can see all of their blood. They'll probably have a scene where I
think Batman's going to give him a right hook, and as Superman's head turns, he's just going to spit blood all over the wall.
Yeah, probably Batfleck coughs up some blood. Probably in Dark Knight Returns, you remember he like electrocutes him. I bet they'd do something to that extent where that would fuck up Superman. They have I don't think it's going to be a whole lot, but just the fact that it got an R is cool. Like, I'm very interested in checking out.
I am now more interested in the Blu-ray than I am the actual movie.
Yeah, although we agreed, it is a good sign. It's 2 hours and 31 minutes.
Yes,
because like you pointed out, if this had been everything they want to include in this film and everything they want to tease in an hour and 45, it could already be a clusterfuck of 2.5 hours. It would have been a disaster at a shorter runtime.
Yeah.
So, you and I are the only people in Zack Snyder's camp, so maybe he pulled it off. Who knows? We won't know, but I agree with you. I want to see Zack Snyder filmed R-rated Batman fighting Superman.
Yes.
Because that's fucking incredible, because Watchmen had some kick-ass fight scenes in that, and that shows like some of the brutality he brings. 300's obvious, but that's kind of a different
I did
piece.
notice one thing also. I guess the PG-13 rating it has is also for some violence throughout and sensuality. I can't fucking talk tonight. Sensuality. How much do you think that's going to piss off people if giving Black Widow a love story fucking makes people chase Joss Whedon out with a pitchfork and torch?
Still hammering on about that.
Yeah. So there's some sensuality. So I guess Ben Affleck's going to get laid by Wonder Woman, and then everyone's going to get angry. I
think they're going to show either flashback or some type scene, and the sensuality thing is from the Amazons. I think they're probably going to show them like running around like half nude or something, and the MPAA have sticks square up their asses to where they're nude slightly in the background, so it's sensuality. Like, oh my god,
there's a naked statue kind of in the corner where you can't see it.
It'll probably be something stupid to where it should have always been a non-story, but just sensuality in the MPAA rating is just like, what?
But yet the rated R version was strictly violence.
Yeah.
They were too distracted by everybody killing each other to notice the statue.
It's like the MPAA rates the BVS Blu Ray rated R for superhero fucking.
Watch this movie. It's just PG-13 Jessica Jones.
You seen Gal Gadot in that costume? I'm okay with this. They got my $10 either way. So, speaking of Zack Snyder, he actually, in addition to the rated R news this week...
He looks so disapproving of our conversation.
He tweeted out a photo of himself with Jason Momoa, who is Aquaman, and Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones, Conan. Everyone knows and loves Jason Momoa, but that was not what generated the fucking just onslaught of Easter egg material that the internet took and went wild with. So he took a picture of, there's a picture taken of Zack Snyder with Jason Momoa, and it's in kind of like their costume warehouse where they have shit all over the place from like probably 4 or 5 different DC movies coming up and Justice League. Shit everywhere. Definitely look up the picture if you're at all interested in the Justice League stuff, because in the background it is the first reveal outside of concept art of the Flash costume, and you can't really see it, but it looks pretty cool.
It's shiny.
It is behind the Aquaman suit, a black suit that we can't really figure out where or who it belongs to. We were kind of talking earlier and postulating it might be kind of like a Batman prototype or something, because some of the shit might not actually be what's in the movie. It's just stuff that was in the warehouse. You see Batman's cowl. You see a helmet that we can't really place. We guessed it's Amazonian. Maybe. I'm not sure, but it's a cool little photo. I think it was accidental, the Flash reveal in this, because Zack Snyder the whole time, every time they've had anything released by him, it's been high res on his Twitter. Like, remember the Batmobile pics and stuff like that?
I'm not so sure. I'm thinking it's intentional, but I can't figure out which way. So I think he's either like, as we're getting closer to the movie, it's like, oh, this will generate more buzz, or B, like, you know, like when he took the fit picture, he had no intention of releasing it, but he was like, oh, I have this in my phone, or B, since the marketing team's already fucking spoiled his entire movie anyway, he's just like, well, fuck it, and posted it. Yeah, I think it's intentional one way or another. I just can't figure out which way.
The spoiler angle makes sense to me. I don't know. I think it's the point of it being him with Jason Momoa, and like the whole big thing was the Flash is kind of offsetting. I don't know. There's no telling, and honestly, it's not going to end up really making that much of a difference.
I still say the look on his face says I hate fish, and he's with Jason Momoa. But no. One thing I was going to say that I like about the Flash costume, it looks more like what I would remember from the cartoons, or maybe what you'd see in the comics, whereas like on the CW show, it's more like Arrow's costume, where it's more like what you'd expect to see in real life versus
it's a little bit more like the one it made me think of is actually the New 52 one you see in like Justice League War. Similar to that one. It all looks cool. There's also like what appears to be like either a concept art piece or some early images of Amber Heard as Mira from the Aquaman film. I'm assuming it's kind of blurry in the background, but
it looks like concept art to me.
And
we know there is concept art because it was released.
We've always said Batman v Superman there's a good chance it's going to end up being just a total clusterfuck. But I'm excited for every solo film they're doing. They've had some really, really good stuff come out of their solo
especially
stuff.
Wonder Woman. The more stuff I hear about that movie or see for that movie.
Dude, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, just that casting alone made me really, really.
He's even kind of menacing when he's smiling and giving like the rock on sign. Like,
a gold crown for you. All right, we've got one more.
Maybe that's the look on Zack Snyder's face. Why is there a pot of boiling gold over there in the corner?
Dude, Jason Momoa fuck you up without that, so
Yeah.
I can only imagine. We've got one more little bit of superhero news to get to in the movie section, and then we are done with this block of the
Couldn't
podcast.
help myself.
So, Doctor Strange. Well, I think every week we just figure out some excuse to just go gaga over Doctor Strange. But apparently this week some set footage was leaked showing Cumberbatch and Chiwetel Ejiofor in full costume. I still haven't seen it because I'm trying to stay away from as much shit on the internet as humanly possible when it comes to everything. So, Ron, you actually saw it.
Okay, and this is going to be spoiler free. So no need to turn us off because of this. Turn us off because we suck. Don't turn us off because of this. What I saw of it was all them setting up a shot and getting ready to actually start filming a scene. It wasn't actually a scene being filmed. And if you're trying to stay away from spoilers, I will tell you that what is in it is potentially a spoiler. I just don't know how big or small. But you do see them walking around the costumes, and dude, those costumes are more gorgeous than we thought they were when we just saw the images. Yeah, like
not even just his. I really like Chiwetel Ejiofor's too, from what I've seen.
And you
from
see
the
them
set.
both, and you see like Cumberbatch and Ejiofor like standing around talking, and then you can tell Cumberbatch like the way he's doing his hands and stuff, like he's getting some help with like what he should do with his lines and stuff as he's talking. But you can't actually hear anything, but you get a pretty good shot of Cumberbatch for a long time. It's like a 20-minute video.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you happen to know when the filming took place? Like, has this been? Was this filmed a few months ago, or was this just filmed like this week?
I think it was filmed. I don't know how long ago, but it was. I don't know. They've wrapped up filming.
They have.
Since,
Okay.
So
I wasn't
I'm
really
not
finished
sure.
filming.
I'm not sure how old it is, but the interesting thing was the guy filming it. You can hear him very clearly. He's like on the second or third story of a building, and he's like, yeah, they did a really good job down there. It really looks like New York. This is London, but it really looks like New York. And there's like the USA Today newspaper things on the side. And he was like, one thing that you guys can't see in my recording here, because I can barely see it out the window myself, is, you know how in New York you guys have the yellow cabs and the green cabs, and you can see yellow cabs everywhere? He's like, there's green cabs sitting right over there. He's like, they've like gotten every detail of New York they can get, but I'm in London filming this. So, but yeah, that part was funny. But near the end of the 20 minutes, you can see them setting up the cameras and they're getting ready, and then security starts making their sweeps, and the guy has to run basically.
And he was caught, and he will never be seen or heard from again.
But it was still pretty cool to see. If nothing else, just that costume.
Oh, their costumes are so cool.
If I saw that in real life, I'd probably piss myself. Like, you'd think you'd mock someone dressed like that. I would probably piss myself.
Well, I'm pretty sure Cumberbatch is so meth, and I'm pretty sure he was actually probably sacrificing goats up there on the Doctor Strange set.
What I was really hoping is to see him practicing spells. Because remember, we reported that he was practicing all the hand gestures to the
From
comics.
the freaking comic, like,
Yeah.
like relative to each spell and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
so awesome.
So I was hoping to see some of that, but I didn't.
Him doing fucking metal horns. I cannot wait for that movie, dude. It's so awesome. It comes out the freaking day before my birthday. I'm so excited. So excited.
But yeah, again, there is a potential spoiler in it. Obviously, since I haven't seen the movie, I don't know how big or small, or if it's a spoiler at all. So
yeah, we'll just.
But if you're trying to avoid spoilers, there's nothing really worth seeing in it unless you just really want to see him in the costume.
Probably just look up images from the footage instead of watching the whole
Yes,
thing.
I would.
All right, that's a wrap for the movie news. We're going to move over. We have one TV news to get to, and we're probably going to pop some blood vessels on this one.
Oh, God.
So we recently reported on Doctor Who leaving Netflix entirely. They were always...
And Hulu.
They were always reported to get the deal done at like the 11th hour, and it never happened. It totally left, and that was, like 2 weeks ago, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So then I see this on Nerdist today, or yesterday. I forget when exactly I first saw this.
Good old nerd tits.
Amazon Prime went in and snatched up seasons 1 through 8 of Doctor Who.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Amazon. Because I buy quite a bit of things from Amazon, but I'm not paying them $100 a year.
Yeah.
Maybe if I could pay them the $8 a month.
I was going to say, I get that Netflix being $8 a month is $96 a year, but Netflix doesn't demand it all up front.
Yeah, I don't... I mean, okay... I often do not actually have the even okay, like how can I say this? Even if I wanted to, I couldn't afford it to do that.
Yeah.
So for them to do that and not give me the option to pay monthly, they're taking money out of their pocket, because I would pay them because I do for Netflix. Yeah. But it is shitty of them, in my opinion, to $99 up front or bust. Like, fuck you. It's just really irritating, because like I've always been talking about I wanted to at some point do like a greatest hits marathon of Doctor Who, and now I will not be able to do that
until that contract's up.
Fucking Amazon. And you know how much money they probably paid them to get this exclusivity right now?
No, I know.
Like, it was a pretty penny, so it's not leaving Amazon anytime soon.
No.
Anytime, maybe not even until the show comes back. So
now the good news here, the silver lining, is it's seasons 1 through 8, which means you may be able to revisit season 9 on Netflix or Hulu.
It depends on how their contract is set up currently.
Exactly.
Which, it's just fucking frustrating.
Because the news article, I feel like if they secured season 9, would have said seasons 1 through 9 will be coming to Amazon, but it didn't. It specifically said 1 through 8.
I mean, what's annoying is...
So we're going to have Star Trek on CBS All Access and Doctor Who locked up on Amazon Prime.
It's just...
You get the pilot, Jeff. You get the worst episode of any TV show ever out there.
Hooray! It's just really aggravating, and it probably will end up selling a whole lot of fucking Prime subscriptions, because most people aren't like you and me. You and me get vindictive. Just like, no, fuck you.
It becomes personal.
Yeah. I want my fucking Doctor Who.
I will suffer if I have to prove my point.
Yeah, most people will just hand them the $99. So as a monetary decision, like, it was smart of them to do this, but it doesn't make them not assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we're going to move on from that. We got actually a good amount of gaming news to get through this week.
Actually, one thing I was going to ask you that I don't think we ever reported on that kind of ties into gaming a little bit. Did you hear that Amazon Prime is going to start offering discounts on brand new video games the day they come out? It's like for the first couple of days when a new $60 game comes out, you get a discount if you're a Prime member.
I think we might have briefly touched on it on... We talked about some type of Amazon Prime gaming thing. I forget if it was that or something similar. But yeah, they as far as like... I have never been that impressed with their TV show lineup, but they do have some really, really cool little perks for gaming. And if I could pay the $8 a month, I would get their Prime thing just for the shipping, because I buy a lot of my Christmas stuff through Amazon, so that free 2-day shipping would be really cool, but I can't afford to give them $100. It's annoying. But they do have some really cool perks. I think it's smart of them to try and get as much of a foothold in gaming as possible, because like shit, they already have a foothold in everything else.
I'll say this: they probably give you more than what other places do if you have to pay some kind of subscription fee or membership fee, but that's just like, I'm Amazon, bitch. What are you gonna do to demand all the money up front?
Yeah,
So
yeah, it really is.
Anyway,
first up in the gaming news, Ron's favorite subject, VR.
Oh,
so we've actually never touched on this one specifically. We have reported on Oculus.
I didn't know this one existed.
Which proves part of my point I'm going to bring up in a bit. So we've talked multiple times.
I spoiled your...
Oh, you bastard.
I spoiled our own podcast.
So you and I have both talked about the Oculus multiple times, and the Morpheus, which is now PSVR. Hooray!
Yay.
Marketing. So this one, which you didn't even know existed, which is I just found really funny. Not as a knock against you, just funny that
Right.
it's so obscure.
I'm an HTC fan.
I have had an HTC phone too that I quite like. They're not a bad company. So the HTC VR headset is known as the Vive. And after the whole Oculus debacle happened with the price point, everyone was saying, well, now HTC and Sony are going to undercut them. Not exactly. Because wasn't the Oculus model was like $599 or something like that? It was
$499,
something like that. The HTC Vive is coming in at $799.
You see, I draw the line at 800, so that's fine. I can do that. No, dude. Okay, HTC makes some really good products. They don't make any products that are that good. I'm sorry. $800 for a fucking what amounts to a phone strapped to my head? No.
Well, okay. When you and I talked about this through text message, my whole thing was, to me, the way it is always kind of broken down with these headsets is that the Oculus with the early adapters is going to be probably the preferred one, because which of these only exists because it was crowdfunded?
Yeah.
Oculus. That's been the one that those people have been kind of championing the whole time. This HTC one, I think, might have been like the latest to the game as far as the major early models of VR that they've been trying to get off the ground. Mm-hmm. The other being the Morpheus.
Is there anything that would suggest they're trying to be like the Cadillac of VR?
That's the thing, is I've heard that this is, just as far as the tech is concerned, the best one. But if it doesn't perform well enough to take off and maintain being a thing, what does it matter?
Yeah.
And you saw, and you and I both reported, the outcry about the Oculus price.
Yeah.
It's not even more expensive. It's $200 more. That's insane. Like, how good of a laptop or desktop computer could you get for $800?
You get a pretty decent
damn
system.
good one.
Yeah. A damn good laptop or a pretty decent desktop system.
I was heavily critical.
You can get a Mac Mini too if you're a Mac fan.
I was heavily critical of the price of the Oculus. And that is the one that was crowdsourced, and a lot of people are backing, and a lot of people have the dev kits and really like. You didn't even know it existed.
I didn't even know it existed.
So how the hell?
I'm plugged into this shit, and I didn't even know it existed.
And you like HTC.
Yeah.
So how the hell is this supposed to be a thing?
I don't know.
I'm scratching my head, because at the end of the day, it might be fucking awesome. But if 3 people in the world own it, who cares? It's just weird.
Is it PC only? Does it tie into PlayStation?
No. It has to be PC only.
Okay, so it's probably going to also require a minimum of like $1,500 worth of hardware and everything to run, just like the Oculus.
It'll probably be
or
higher.
More.
Because the people, like, you made a good comparison. It's like the Cadillac. Like, people were saying, from what I can tell, and I'm not as plugged into it as I should be, but people are saying, as far as tech is concerned, this is the best one. But like I said, who fucking cares if no one ever gets their hands on it?
Yeah.
Because they had a prime opportunity. If they had come in and just gotten it $50 cheaper than Oculus, that would have been a big win for them. They didn't have to take much, but for them, like, it's almost like, did you guys miss the whole thing about people wanting to go burn down the Oculus headquarters for the price and the other one?
I wonder what the profit margin is on that. I mean, if it's supposed to be the best in tech, I wonder if that's as low as they could put it to make a profit.
I don't know, but I already said before, I don't think the Oculus is going to become a thing based at its price. This one's dead in the water. Like, calling it out right now. Dead in the water.
Do we know the price on PlayStation VR?
They have not come out and said yet.
Okay.
If they're smart...
So this is their opportunity.
If they are smart, it will be at least $1 cheaper than the Oculus. If they are smart. But Sony is
$798.
If you go back in time and look at the price of the PS3 at launch, it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah. Like,
Sony is also off. Like, they were really good about the PS4 price. They were genius in that regard, but I get the feeling the Morpheus is going to end up what I think the Oculus was $599. I'm now thinking since HTC went this route, I don't think the Morpheus is going to end up being cheaper than the Oculus even. I think they're all going to be too expensive.
I have a hard time buying a $50 controller.
Me too.
I don't understand the desire to run out and spend on these headsets, and I don't even like them. I've never touched one, but I don't want to either.
I want to check it out. I think it probably
I don't even care to check it out.
I think it is very, very cool and probably fun to play, but they're going to totally fuck up.
I feel like it's something that would be fun to play for like the first 30 minutes to an hour, and then you're tired of it and you would never touch it again.
I think it's a little bit more like the thing you always say is like holding the phone up to your face. Like the point in it is if you're in the middle of the room in Alien Isolation, if you look behind you, you're looking behind you, and if you poke your head out, you're looking at an alien. It's like
I can use my right stick to do that, though.
The immersion of you being the person looking around the corner at the alien that's about to kill you is not this. Like, okay, so my comparison.
Call me when the alien sticks its tail through my chest and it actually kills me in real life. Call me then.
My thing.
I want the Matrix, Jeff. If I'm gonna get VR.
If it was as simple as that, it wouldn't have the medical applications. You and I both saw that thing. Like the shitty little cardboard, the Google one, saved a person's life because the guy was able to simulate and immerse himself in the surgery he was about to do. So there does remain with VR potential. But
yes, and I agree in the military and educational and medical applications, but I don't see a place for it in homes. I don't care. You like I don't know. You wouldn't want to play. I don't understand why people care.
You wouldn't want to play a simulation of being inside Iron Man's helmet and looking around and being the person.
I could do that just fine with a PlayStation controller and look around the right stick.
I think you and I before we really, I think we need to test it. Because I think it is I could be totally talking about my ass because I haven't used it either, but I'm willing to check it out. I think it does have some really, really cool applications for it.
I just say meh.
I think the immersion of it, if it's now, it all depends on the gaming developers. Because what's probably going to happen is shit that's actually going to be on these systems isn't going to be cool stuff like the Iron Man simulation. Or
you know what's going to happen is the same thing that always happens. No one taps its potential.
And there's going to be it's going to be like fucking Angry Birds of VR. It's going to be something stupid.
Yeah, it's going to be shit like we talk about time with Sony and their handheld systems or Nintendo and their console systems. Like they always have so much potential and they never tap it. That's what's going to happen.
Or like you heard one of their demos they have going around at some of their cons and stuff is like the Pacific Rim experience. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Unless it's anything like that PlayStation game, the PSN game. Oh god, that game was awful.
Was it painful? I never played it.
You control the right side with the R1 and R2 buttons and the left side with the L1 and L2, and that works in the movie because there's two fucking people. But yeah, no, it just. Oh, it hurt.
Another huge problem with VR. I want to check it out. How am I supposed to check it out if I don't go to E3 or one of those big conventions? Right. There is no going to Walmart and checking out the PS4 demo they have.
Yeah.
Or the Wii U or anything like that. How the hell am I supposed to check out?
You're more likely to get that from PlayStation VR than you are Oculus and HTC.
Yeah.
That'll probably be like available at Best Buy or something.
Competitively against Microsoft at the Xbox One and PS4 launch, Sony was incredibly smart and did all the right moves.
You know what they could do? The Microsoft stores, if they were smart.
Yeah.
We even have one of those here in Tulsa.
I think Valve might be in the works with Microsoft doing one, but I don't know if that ever actually...
Yeah, the Steam one.
Something. But yeah, it remains to be seen on how competitive they want to get with the VR thing. But we got one other thing in gaming that's going to make us rant. And this just made me...
This is total bullshit is what this is.
So we have reported before on Quantum Break. It is the new game coming out this year from Remedy Games. If you didn't know, they are known for like Alan Wake, other games like that. They originally were talking at Quantum Break as an Xbox One exclusive, and then it got leaked that no, it is also going to be on PC. And what people didn't realize about this was when you hear PC gaming, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Steam.
Yeah.
Shit's not going to be on Steam. only place you can get it is the Microsoft Store.
On Windows 10.
On Windows 10.
Fuck a lot of that.
It will, quote unquote, not work on Windows 7 because bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. And like, how many times does Microsoft have to be just a complete dipshit and hurt themselves before they realize they are being a complete dipshit and hurting themselves?
You know what my favorite part of this rant is? You're the guy in the room with Windows 10.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm actually interested in that game. You know who's not going to be playing this? Me. Because fuck them.
Yeah, dude. That makes no sense.
Okay, like I just said, what's the first word that comes to your mind when you think PC gaming? Steam.
Yeah.
How many millions of dollars are you losing by not having your game accessible on Steam?
It's because the Windows 10 adoption rate is not what they want it to be. So this is what they're going to start doing. This is their answer.
They're so fucking stubborn, they're going to lose millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They're so stupid
for their
and stubborn.
free OS update.
Mind-bogglingly dumb, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so dumb, I can't even believe it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you not want money? Apparently you don't want money.
Apparently they don't.
Apparently they do not want money.
Microsoft has been proving for years now they do not want money.
They sure as shit don't want our money. Before I have an embolism, we're going to move on to a couple of lighthearted stories. This week brought new trailers for Dark Souls 3 and Uncharted 4. And I have stayed away from the majority of them because these are two of my favorite series, and I don't, even though they're video games, and it's not as critical as like a movie probably, but I don't like spoilers, especially for Uncharted 4, because it is an interactive movie in my opinion. That's one of the reasons I like it so much.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So we'll start off with Dark Souls 3. I saw a little bit of it. I didn't watch all of it because I really don't like knowing the boss designs until I walk in the room. That's a big... Like, how cool is it when you walk in and see, if you didn't already know it looked like Ornstein and Smoke.
Or Gaping Dragon.
Or stuff like that. But I did see some of the standard enemy designs. It's macabre and fucked up as always. It's grotesquely gorgeous because
that's a good way to say it.
It's running at 1080p, 60 FPS, just like Bloodborne did. They're using the Bloodborne engine for Dark Souls now.
And so you can tell it just in that trailer.
It's gorgeous. So you saw the full extent of it. What were your thoughts?
Oh God, dude. That's all I have to say. It doesn't really say anything story-wise, but then again, none of the games do. It's probably going to be the same format as Dark Souls 1 and 2.
It will be. That's how Miyazaki does his games.
Exactly. All the lore is going to be in the item descriptions and talking to people. But yeah, it looks fucking fantastic, and it is gorgeous to look at, which is very strange to say when you look at the images I saw that are going to be haunting me.
So he was already just kind of fucked up in the head doing Dark Souls, and when he went off and did Bloodborne, he went into like a darker place.
Yeah,
if that's even possible, because there's a lot of Bloodborne imagery in Dark Souls 3 too, just from looking at it. Like, he has this weird way to design something simple, and then just as something as simple as the way the thing moves, make it creepy.
Yeah.
Like, in Bloodborne, he has just like these crows. They sound like crows, they're bigger than crows, but they're just crows, but they can't fly. They just kind of flap and crawl around at you. Like, something as simple as that makes a fucking dumb crow, like, really creepy.
Yeah.
Like, that guy has an eye for character design that is just absurd. And, like, when you just go back and look at it, like, all the stuff from Demons and Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 and Bloodborne that all came from that dude's brain, like, he needs, like, a hug and some, like, something.
God forbid Del Toro and him ever get together, dude.
They could you imagine a Silent Hill done by Miyazaki?
Oh shit, dude!
Like, these are action RPGs. Could you imagine a horror game?
Norman Reedus would be like, no thanks.
I'm gonna hang out on the Walking Dead set where it's safe. It's Dark Souls 3 comes out in April. I cannot fucking wait for it. It's gonna devour 50 hours of me just getting my ass handed to me, but I'm willing to.
What I saw, you're gonna be too scared to even move.
Yeah, it's going to be good times. So that's Dark Souls 3. Last thing on the podcast, thoughts on Uncharted 4. I haven't watched anything of this other than the E3 demo. So
it was gorgeous to look at. It was action-packed. It was a mix of gameplay and cinematic, which is kind of hard to differentiate the two in that game, but it was funny. It was even there's a line at the end that makes you want to choke up. Dude, that game is going to be fucking fantastic.
And they've all been great. And now, like okay, Uncharted 4 is exactly why I got so pissed off at Fallout 4. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at Uncharted 4 compared to Uncharted 3, like that's a you can tell at that point you upgraded systems.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 compared to Uncharted 4 looks like a PS2 game.
Yeah.
Like in Uncharted 4, the gameplay looks better than most other games rendered cutscenes.
Yeah,
like Naughty Dog has their shit together, dude. It's intense. Like how. And I already love their voice cast. Who do they add to it? Troy freaking Baker, man.
Of course, because
their
video
boy.
Game.
Because video game and Naughty Dog now, with him and being the Last of Us guy, like they'll probably always work together now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been trying to stay away from as much as possible, but fucking, it's Uncharted. Are you still trying to get caught up before it comes out?
Yes.
Do we have a release date for Uncharted?
April 26th?
I know that and Dark Souls are like 2 weeks apart, but I get them mixed up which one comes out first.
Let me see.
Because it was originally supposed to be like last November or something, right? And it got pushed back.
Yeah, it got pushed back, which isn't... Yeah, April 26th. It's not always a bad sign when a game gets pushed back. No,
it's usually... And as long as it's not a thing where the game never comes out, usually it's a good sign.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm a little pissed off that like my two favorite games of the year, as far as most anticipated, come out 2 weeks from each other. Because it's like, Jesus Christ. I can't wait though. I cannot wait.
Yeah. March 24th is Dark Souls, which I
think that's the Japanese release date. I think the North American one is like April 12th or something. So are you going to try to get caught up on Uncharted before 4 comes out? They're really, really like bingeable as far as games go.
I imagine that they would be because of the format, where it's basically a movie. Because something like Assassin's Creed, that even though some of the games don't do this very well, but a lot of them do, where they try to mix up the gameplay because it can get repetitive. It's kind of hard to play those back to back. So, like, I'll play one, and then I'll play something else and go back to the franchise. Mm-hmm. Uncharted, I can't imagine would feel like that. It is.
Like, if you are a fan of Indiana Jones, even a little bit, like, you will really like Uncharted.
Because I own them all, because when I told my mom for Christmas to get me the first one, and then I'll buy the others if I like them, and she bought me the box set that has... I think it's got... I guess it has 1 and 2 in it, and then she bought me 3 separately because I mentioned Uncharted. So she bought all of them at the time. But I have played a lot of the PlayStation Vita version on it too, which was actually kind of fun. That was one game that was probably... I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that came out on launch with the Vita.
What was it? It was like Golden Abyss or something like that?
It was a weird name. I just don't remember what it was called, but... And I don't have Google sitting to my right, but it was cool because it actually did tap the Vita's hardware. So
there was one thing in its life cycle that actually did.
Yeah, sniping people was fucking fun, dude. The Vita is the rifle.
It's pretty cool.
And your screen is the scope. And you actually, like, as you move, like you were talking about, like with VR, when you look behind you and stuff, that's how it looks around the environment. So you're actually sitting there, like, turning your upper body to look right and look left and
that's really cool.
Up, down. And it was actually really easy. Like, people would be running left to right, and I could snipe them really easy. It's the right trigger to snipe. And I think, if I don't recall, I think the touchpad on the back was zooming and stuff. But yeah, it was really cool. But I'm pretty excited. I'm going to burn through them, hopefully, before that comes out.
The only one that's going to be a little bit of a stumbling block is the first one is now 9 years old. It came out in 07, I believe. That was the first one. So the platforming on it is a little janky because it was their first time using the engine.
Right.
But it's not horrible. Like, it's totally playable.
Stuff like that doesn't bother me as long as I play it first. If I were to play 3 and go back to 1, it would drive me insane.
Yeah, you got to ramp it up.
But yeah, as long as I start out with the oldest one and move forward, stuff like that doesn't bother me. I get that I'm playing it out of its era.
I think you'll really, really like them because
everything that I have seen on them, I freaking loved. I love the main character and his smart assery.
Yeah, Nolan North.
And I like the concept of them. But everyone I know that has played them, including my 50-year-old coworker, fucking loves those games.
Stunned that we live in a world where a Warcraft movie got made before an Uncharted movie.
Yeah, I know.
So weird.
I know.
It's already a movie.
I know.
Like, I don't understand. I don't know. But yeah, dude, have you seen just the docket for games in 2016? It is goddamn ridiculous how many, like, major games are coming out throughout the year. Like, it's crazy.
Like what?
Okay, we've already had Far Cry Primal, we have Dark Souls 3, Uncharted 4. Now, some of these aren't going to be like ones that you or me are into, but they're big titles. No Man's Sky, Deus Ex, the next, the Wii U Legend of Zelda is supposed to come out. Star Fox is coming out. We have towards the end of the year. There is no Assassin's Creed for the first time in fucking ever.
I know, that's usually the fallback. Like, what games come out this year? Assassin's Creed. Like, yeah.
Yeah, if you pull up the Turtles, if you pull up the thing throughout the year, Turtles. Like it's pretty nuts. It's a lot more filled out.
Just you mentioning it, I want to watch that trailer again.
Right? Yeah, but it's ridiculous though, dude. I can't wait. I think it's gonna be in a really, really good year.
We'll have to get with our Nintendo correspondent Phil on Zelda.
Yeah. God knows when that thing's ever going to come out. Yeah, but I think that's actually going to be a wrap for our episode 48 of the podcast. Getting close to that anniversary. We have to do something special. It's all
special that no one will listen to.
It's all garbage. But we appreciate it if you have made it with us this far. If you'd like to check us out more, make sure and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get all of our content that way, all of our Let's Plays, all of our commentaries and podcasts, etc., etc. We are also on the social medias. Twitter is at TWBE Podcast or Facebook.com/TWBE Podcasts. I am Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And we will catch you guys next time.